KitzurByte. When I was 17 years old, I went to Israel for the first time. My grandparents lived in Jerusalem in a neighborhood called Har Nof, and I went to stay with them for, it must have been around 4 or 5 weeks. Down the block from my grandparents, on Rehov Hakablan Street, lived one of the greatest Torah scholars that was alive, a Sephardi rabbi named Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. He had previously been the chief rabbi of Israel, the Sephardic chief rabbi, and he was an extremely, extremely holy person. At the time, he was already quite elderly. He did have a synagogue in the neighborhood, but he primarily prayed in his home. He had a minyan in his house, and he had prayer services in his apartment. So I decided, I'm in Israel, in Jerusalem. Rabbi Ovadia Yosef is down the block from my grandparents where I'm staying. I should go see him. I should go visit him. Maybe get a blessing from him. So I asked around. I found out what time services were in the morning in his apartment. And the next morning I was up early, going down the block to pray in his apartment. Due to him having been the chief rabbi, also he was a little bit of a political figure, so he had security over there. To get into his apartment, he had to go through a metal detector. There was a security guard patting everybody down. They let me in, no problem, and I end up in his minyan that morning. Now he was Sephardi, so it was a Sephardi minyan. I'm Ashkenazi, so there are a few differences in the way how an Ashkenazi service works and how a Sephardi service works. And one of them is, do you stand for Kaddish or not, like we learned in today's episode? So I was a young 17-year-old boy. I think this is the first time I ever prayed in a Sephardi service. And comes Kaddish, and I wasn't sure what to do. I know the Ashkenazi custom is to stand up. The Sephardi custom, everybody else in the room was sitting down. So, but I wasn't sure what to do. I didn't think about it beforehand. I didn't ask anybody beforehand. And I ended up standing up. And I look around, and I see I'm the only person standing in the whole room in front of Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, one of the greatest Torah scholars alive, as if he has his way, but no, Rabbi Freedman, I'm going to do it my way. I realized afterwards that was a mistake, that was inappropriate, and I made sure never to do that again. If I ever end up in a Sephardi service, everyone is sitting down for Kaddish, you're also supposed to sit down. Regardless, after services, when I went over to him, even though I was a little bit chutzpahdik that I was standing during Kaddish in a Sephardi service, he had no problem giving me a blessing, and it was really an amazing, amazing moment to be able to meet him and get a blessing from him.